Rachael, the beloved wife of Jacob, and her struggles with barrenness. Rachael, the beloved wife of Jacob, stands as a pivotal figure in the narrative of the patriarchs, encapsulating both the joys and the deep sorrows of womanhood in ancient Israel. Her story, rich with themes of love, jealousy, and divine intervention, profoundly reflects on the trials and triumphs that shape the human experience. Among the many facets of Rachael's life, her struggle with barrenness and her eventual motherhood are key elements defining her legacy. This essay delves into Rachael's journey through these challenges, exploring her deep longing for children, her rivalry with her sister Leah, and the eventual fulfillment of her maternal dreams. Rachael's introduction in the book of Genesis paints her as a woman of remarkable beauty, catching Jacob's eye when he first arrives in Paddan Aram. The Bible describes their initial encounter by a well, where Rachael was tending her father Laban's sheep. Upon seeing her, Jacob immediately fell in love, and his affection for her was so strong that he agreed to work for 7 years in exchange for her hand in marriage. Genesis 29 verses 18 to 20. These years, the Bible notes, seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. This passage underscores the depth of Jacob's love and the special place Rachael held in his heart. However, Rachael's story is not merely one of love and devotion. It is also one of profound disappointment and heartbreak. On the night of their wedding, Rachael was deceived by her father, who substituted her older sister Leah in her place. Jacob, unaware of the switch until the next morning, was devastated. Although he was eventually allowed to marry Rachael as well, the incident set the stage for a lifelong rivalry between the two sisters, particularly when it came to bearing children. In the cultural context of ancient Israel, motherhood was not just a personal desire but a social expectation. A woman's worth was often measured by her ability to produce offspring, particularly male heirs. For Rachael, who was deeply loved by Jacob, the inability to conceive was a source of immense sorrow and frustration. The Bible vividly captures her anguish in Genesis 30 verse 1, where she cries out to Jacob, "Give me children, or I'll die." This desperate plea reflects the intense emotional burden that Rachael bore, feeling inadequate and incomplete despite her husband's love. Rachael's plight was further exacerbated by the fertility of her sister Leah, who bore Jacob 6 sons and a daughter. Leah's ability to conceive easily only heightened Rachael's feelings of inadequacy and jealousy. The tension between the two sisters grew as Leah's children became a constant reminder of what Rachael lacked. In an attempt to compete with Leah, Rachael offered her maidservant Bilhah to Jacob as a surrogate, and Bilhah bore 2 sons, Dan and Naphtali, whom Rachael claimed as her own. While this alleviated some of Rachael's distress, it was not enough to satisfy her deep longing for a child of her flesh and blood. The Bible attributes Rachael's eventual conception to divine intervention. Genesis 30 verse 22 states, "Then God remembered Rachael, he listened to her and enabled her to conceive." This verse is a turning point in Rachael's story, marking the moment when her prayers were finally answered. The phrase "God remembered Rachael" suggests that her years of suffering and longing were not forgotten by the Almighty and that her time to experience the joys of motherhood had finally come. Rachael's firstborn son, Joseph, was the answer to her prayers and the fulfillment of her deepest desires. His birth brought immense joy and relief to Rachael, who exclaimed, "God has taken away my disgrace." Genesis 30 verse 23. The name Joseph, which means "may he add," reflected Rachael's hope for another son, as she continued to yearn for more children. Rachael's wish for another son was granted, but it came at a great cost. During the journey back to Canaan, Rachael went into labor and gave birth to her second son, Benjamin. The birth was a difficult one, and Rachael's life was in danger. As she lay dying, Rachael named her son Benoni, meaning "son of my sorrow," a name that poignantly captured the bittersweet nature of his birth. However, Jacob later changed his name to Benjamin, meaning son of the right hand, perhaps to mitigate the sadness associated with his birth. Rachel's death in childbirth was a tragic end to her story, cutting short her life just as she had fulfilled her dream of bearing sons. She was buried on the way to Ephrath, Bethlehem, and Jacob set up a pillar on her grave, which the Bible notes was still standing at the time the text was written, Genesis 35 verses 19 to 20. Rachel's grave became a significant landmark, symbolizing not only her death but also the enduring love that Jacob had for her. Rachel's legacy is multifaceted. She is remembered as the beloved wife of Jacob, whose love story is one of the most tender and tragic in the Bible. Her struggle with barrenness and her eventual motherhood resonate with many, highlighting the deep emotional and spiritual challenges that come with unfulfilled desires. Rachel's sons, Joseph and Benjamin, played crucial roles in the history of Israel, with Joseph rising to become a powerful leader in Egypt and Benjamin becoming the ancestor of one of Israel's 12 tribes. Rachel also symbolizes the pain and sacrifice that often accompany the fulfillment of God's promises. Her death in childbirth serves as a poignant reminder of the costs associated with divine blessings and the unpredictable nature of life. Despite her suffering, Rachel's story is ultimately one of faith and perseverance, as she held on to her hope for children until the very end. In Jewish tradition, Rachel is revered as a matriarch and a symbol of maternal love and sacrifice. Her grave in Bethlehem is still a site of pilgrimage, where many come to pray for fertility and the well-being of their children. Rachel's life, though marked by sorrow, is also a testament to the enduring power of love, faith, and hope. Rachel's story is a powerful narrative that touches on universal themes of love, longing, rivalry, and the divine plan. Her life, marked by deep emotional struggles and profound spiritual experiences, offers valuable lessons on perseverance, faith, and the complexities of human relationships. As we reflect on Rachel's journey, we are reminded of the resilience of the human spirit and how God's grace can manifest in our lives, even while suffering. If you found Rachel's story as compelling as we did, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more insightful content, and share this video with others who might find inspiration in Rachel's journey. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on Rachel's life and the lessons we can learn from her story. Thank you for watching.